Today, we're going to talk about something that's less of a topic and more of a personal expedition, the journey to find a spiritual path that actually fits you. And look, this isn't about some confusing, frustrating search. This is about an empowering discovery of what truly resonates with your deepest self. So, let's get started. You know that feeling? It often starts as this quiet little whisper in the back of your mind, a sense that even when you've checked all the boxes, something is still missing. That feeling of dissatisfaction, it's not a problem you need to solve. It's actually a profound signal from within, the very first step on this incredible journey. So, to help you navigate this new territory, we've got a map for our expedition. First, we'll talk about recognizing that call to awaken, the trailhead. Then we're going to roll out the charts and explore all the different spiritual traditions out there. After that, we'll learn how to use our inner compass, which is absolutely the most essential tool you have. We'll also mark some common traps to avoid, and finally, we'll get into why this path is all about direct, personal experience. Okay, our first stop, recognizing that call. How do you actually know you're ready to start this journey? Well, it usually begins when you start noticing a few key shifts happening inside you. But before we go any further, let's just be clear on what we're talking about. A spiritual awakening sounds like a huge, dramatic event, but it's really not about becoming some new, better person. It's a process. It's about recognizing your true nature, the part of you that exists underneath your job title, your family roles, and all the conditioning you've picked up over your life. These signs are so often mistaken for problems, when really they're invitations. If you're feeling that deep dissatisfaction with stuff that used to feel important, if you're suddenly asking the really big questions about life, or if you just feel this deep pull toward inner peace and clarity, you might be hearing the call. Now, this is a really crucial moment. Just pause for a second. Before you take another step, ask yourself, why? Why are you seeking this? Is it for peace? For answers? Understanding your own motivation is the key to an authentic journey. It makes sure the path you choose is truly your own. All right, once you've heard that call, it's time to survey the landscape. Now we get to map out the vast and surprisingly diverse world of spiritual options. Because trust me, you have more choices than you probably think. The options can feel a little overwhelming, so let's try to group them. On one hand, you've got these ancient Eastern traditions like Buddhism, yoga, and Advaita Vedanta, which is a really profound school of Hindu philosophy. These paths often focus on looking inward to discover a truth that's already there. On the other hand, you have Western mystical paths, like Christian mysticism, Kabbalah, a beautiful form of Jewish mysticism, and Sufism, which is really the mystical heart of Islam. These paths often emphasize a journey upward or outward to have a direct experience of the divine. But hey, this landscape is always evolving. Today, there are countless modern teachers who focus on things like non-duality and mindfulness, often outside of any rigid traditional structures. They kind of unbundle the ancient wisdom for the modern world. The goal here isn't to pick one right now, but just to see the incredible variety of what's out there for you to explore. Okay, so with all these potential paths, how in the world do you choose? This is where the most important piece of equipment for your whole expedition comes in: your inner compass, your intuition. While guidance from books and teachers is awesome, at the end of the day, your own sense of resonance, that feeling of, yes, this feels true for me, is your most trustworthy guide. It's like this quiet confidence, a feeling of coming home. This is all about learning to trust yourself over any external authority. And here's a really practical way to tune that compass. Think about your personality and your lifestyle. If you're more introverted, solo practices like meditation might just click. If you get your energy from being around others, community retreats or group talks, sometimes called satsangs, could be a perfect fit. The most effective path is always going to be one that integrates into your actual life, not one that forces you to completely abandon it. Think of this as taking field notes on your inner landscape. After you try something new, maybe a guided meditation, a talk, or even just reading a book, take a moment to journal about it. Don't judge it, just notice. How did you feel? Calm? Agitated? Inspired? This simple act of noticing helps you hear which way your inner compass is pointing. Now, any good map also marks the dangerous terrain, right? So let's look at a few common pitfalls on this journey so you can navigate with a little more awareness and wisdom. Recognizing these detours is so important. Teacher worship, that's when a helpful guide turns into a crutch you can't walk without. Spiritual materialism is when you're just collecting spiritual books and concepts instead of having genuine insights. It's like decorating your ego, not transcending it. And practice overwhelm. Trying to do everything at once just leads to burnout, not bliss. Just being aware of these is your best protection. And this brings us right to the heart of the expedition, the most crucial part of our map. This journey is not theoretical. Awakening is about direct, personal experience. It's all about doing, not just knowing. This isn't about belief, it's about experimentation. You really have to test these things out for yourself. Explore meditation to quiet your mind. Ask those profound self-inquiry questions to investigate it. Try practices like yoga or qigong to get the body involved. Or discover the unbelievable power of selfless service. The only way to know what works for you is to actually try it. And as you experiment, just remember this. The path is not a straight line up a mountain. It is a winding trail with moments of brilliant clarity and, periods of thick fog and doubt. Self-compassion isn't a luxury here. It is essential fuel for the journey. No two expeditions through the inner world are ever the same. So comparing your journey to someone else's is just a recipe for frustration. Instead, try to embrace the whole process. Setbacks are just part of learning the terrain. And learn to celebrate the small shifts in perspective, not just the massive breakthroughs. Every single insight is progress. So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. The goal isn't to find the one true path. The goal is to find your true path, the one that creates this deep sense of alignment, resonance, and authenticity right inside of you. The map is in your hands. You have the tools, and now you know how to listen to your inner compass. Your expedition begins right now. The only question left is, what's your next step?